The secrets of bread that can save or destroy your life after 60 years. Did you know that the choice of bread can determine how many years you will live? Could it be that the bread you eat every day is secretly stealing your energy and accelerating aging? How about finding out why American doctors are warning about a silent epidemic related to processed breads? Imagine being in the bread aisle of the supermarket, surrounded by dozens of options. The choice you make at this moment can literally add or subtract years from your life. This is not an exaggeration. A groundbreaking study of 2023 from Harvard Medical School followed 93,000 adults over the age of 60 for 2 decades. The results were shocking. People who ate the right types of bread had 43% lower risk of heart disease and lived an average of 7.2 years longer. But here's where it gets really interesting. The researchers found that after the age of 60, your body processes bread completely differently. Your digestive enzymes decrease by up to 40%. Your metabolism slows down dramatically, and your blood sugar regulation becomes extremely fragile. This means that bread choices that were harmless or even healthy in their 40s may now be quietly damaging your arteries. Let's get started. Why your body processes bread differently after 60. At 60, your digestive system is no longer the same as it was decades ago. The production of digestive enzymes drops dramatically, especially pancreatic amylase. This enzyme is responsible for breaking down the complex starches in breads. With less amylase available, carbohydrates are processed much more slowly and inefficiently. This results in prolonged spikes in blood sugar that overwhelm your pancreas. Your gut flora also changes significantly with age. Beneficial bacteria decrease, while harmful ones increase. Breads rich in prebiotic fiber become essential for feeding the remaining good bacteria. Chronic low-grade inflammation becomes your main enemy after 60. Processed breads with a high glycemic index feed this silent inflammation. The result is accelerated aging, joint pain, and a higher risk of degenerative diseases. Their ability to absorb nutrients also decreases with age. The gut lining becomes less permeable to essential micronutrients. Artificially fortified breads do not make up for this deficiency. Only breads with naturally bioavailable nutrients make a real difference. But all is not lost. The 4 miracle breads that can add years to your life. There are 4 specific types of breads that function as food medicine for mature adults. Each has unique mechanisms that work in harmony with your aging body. The science behind these breads is absolutely fascinating. They not only nourish, but literally repair cellular damage accumulated over the years. Let's discover the first secret that can change your life forever. 1. Whole wheat bread with seeds. The secret of longevity that few know. 100% wholemeal bread with seeds represents the pinnacle of carbohydrate nutrition. A landmark study of 2024 from the Copenhagen Heart Research Center followed 18,000 adults over 60 for 15 years. The results were simply extraordinary. Those who consumed whole grain seed bread daily had a 47% lower risk of death from any cause. They lived an average of 4.7 years longer, with significantly better quality of life. The researchers identified 37 different bioactive compounds in this type of bread. These compounds work together to reduce inflammation, protect DNA from damage, and optimize cellular energy production. Sunflower seeds provide vitamin E in massive amounts. This vitamin is crucial for protecting your cells from oxidative stress. Pumpkin seeds are rich in zinc, a mineral essential for immune function that declines with age. Chia seeds contain omega-3 in optimal proportions to reduce brain inflammation. Ground flaxseed provides lignans that protect against hormone-dependent cancers. Sesame seeds offer bioavailable calcium for strong bones. The soluble fiber in the seeds acts as a powerful prebiotic. It specifically feeds the beneficial bacteria, Bifidobacterium, and Lactobacillus. These bacteria produce short-chain fatty acids that nourish the gut lining. The result is better nutrient absorption and less systemic inflammation. For maximum benefits, look for breads where the first ingredient is 100% wholemeal flour. The seeds should be visible all over the slice, not just sprinkled on the surface. Consume 2 slices a day, preferably for breakfast with quality protein. The perfect combination would be avocado, eggs, or natural almond butter. But wait, because the next loaf could be even more powerful for your cardiovascular health. 2. Rye bread, the secret diabetes weapon that doctors recommend. Rye is an ancestral grain that the Nordic countries have been consuming for millennia. Its unique nutritional composition makes it especially powerful against type 2 diabetes. Rye naturally contains high levels of soluble fiber, especially arabinoxalins. These fibers form a gel in the intestine that drastically slows down the absorption of sugars. A Finnish clinical trial, published in the Journal of Nutrition in 2000, followed people over the age of 65. Those who consumed just 2 slices of whole grain rye bread daily reduced their LDL cholesterol by 16% in 3 months. They also reported greater feelings of fullness and sustained energy throughout the day. The real magic of rye lies in how it controls blood sugar. Unlike white wheat bread that causes dramatic peaks and sudden drops, rye is digested slowly. This means that your blood sugar gradually rises and remains stable for hours. The Finnish study also found that participants had 22% less fasting insulin. Low insulin levels are markers of better metabolic health. Elevated insulin is directly linked to chronic inflammation and abdominal fat gain. By keeping insulin in check, rye helps preserve your waistline, even with slowed metabolism. When buying rye bread, always choose versions where whole rye flour is the main ingredient. Avoid pale, fluffy rye breads that are mostly wheat flour dyed with caramel coloring. True rye is darker, denser, and has a slightly sour taste. It's perfect for sandwiches with smoked salmon or turkey, makes exceptional toast, and pairs wonderfully with strong cheeses. Many seniors find that rye's slow-digesting fiber helps with bowel regularity as well. Constipation is a common problem with aging, and rye is one of the most effective natural solutions. But get ready to meet a bread that your ancestors consumed and that can revolutionize your digestion. 3. Sourdough bread, the ancient remedy that science has proven. Sourdough bread is much more than a nostalgic memory of your childhood. It's a living, breathing food that can make an amazing difference to anyone over 60. Made with only flour, water, and natural yeast, a combination of wild yeasts and bacteria, this bread goes through a slow fermentation process. What most people don't realize is that this fermentation breaks down much of the gluten and phytic acid. This makes it much easier to digest than regular breads. In a study of 2022, published in Food Microbiology, seniors who swapped their standard bread for true sourdough experienced 26% improvement in gut comfort. This included less bloating, gas, and more regular bowel movements. The beneficial bacteria left in sourdough bread act as powerful prebiotics. They specifically feed the good microbes in your gut, which are crucial for immune health and mood stability. This is especially important with aging, when the diversity of the gut flora naturally decreases. But the benefits go far beyond your stomach. The same slow fermentation significantly reduces the glycemic index of bread. This means that natural fermentation won't skyrocket your blood sugar like conventional white or even whole grain breads. Research from the University of Toronto showed that older adults who ate sourdough for breakfast had post-meal glucose increases only 45% lower than those who ate regular bread. This can be revolutionary if you're struggling with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. This condition now affects nearly 1 in 3 people over the age of 60. Natural fermentation also naturally preserves more B vitamins and minerals like magnesium. Your muscles and nerves desperately need these nutrients as you age. For the best results, always look for breads made with whole grains and real natural yeast. Not just natural fermentation flavoring or commercial yeast in disguise. The crust should be dark and crispy. The inner core chewy and open with slight acidity from natural fermentation. You can toast it for breakfast, top it with avocado and poached egg, or pair it with soups for lunch. Just 2 slices a day are enough to see the gut, energy, and blood sugar benefits shown in the studies. But wait until you discover the next loaf of bread that can literally reverse cellular aging. 4. Sprouted grain bread, the nutritional discovery that is changing lives. Sprouted grain bread represents a return to the way our ancestors prepared grains for thousands of years. The sprouting process involves soaking whole grains until they begin to germinate, then grinding them into flour. This ancestral technique transforms the nutritional profile in ways that modern science is only beginning to understand. For adults over 60, sprouted grain bread offers benefits that seem too good to be true. However, they are backed by solid research and impressive clinical results. Only the digestibility factor makes sprouted grain bread revolutionary for the elderly. During germination, enzymes break down starches and proteins into simpler forms that your aging digestive system can easily process. A study of 2023 from the UCLA Center for Human Nutrition tested 500 adults over the age of 65 with various digestive complaints. After switching to sprouted grain bread for 8 weeks, 73% reported significant improvement in bloating, gas, and stomach discomfort. Blood tests revealed why this happened. The germination process reduces phytic acid by up to 81%. This eliminates the compound that blocks mineral absorption and irritates the intestinal lining. The blood sugar response to sprouted grain bread challenges conventional wisdom about carbohydrates. Despite containing the same amount of carbohydrates as regular whole grain bread, it produces a dramatically lower glucose spike. Research from the Glycemic Index Foundation found that sprouted grain bread has a glycemic index of only 36. Compare that to 51 for common whole wheat and 75 for white bread. The nutritional density of sprouted grain bread looks like a multivitamin label. The germination process increases the vitamin C content by 600%. B vitamins increase by 300%. It also creates new compounds called benzoxazanoids that have powerful anti-inflammatory effects. A German study of 900 adults over 60 found that eating sprouted grain bread daily increased serum folate levels by 42%. The absorption of B12 improved by 38%. This is crucial because B12 deficiency affects up to 40% of older adults. It contributes to cognitive decline, fatigue, and nerve damage. Incorporating sprouted grain bread into your diet requires some adjustments. First, you'll notice that it's stored in the frozen section, not the bread aisle. That's because without preservatives, it stays fresh for only about 5 days at room temperature. Buy multiple loaves and keep them frozen, removing slices as needed. They roast beautifully straight from the freezer. The texture is denser and almond-shaped than conventional bread, with whole grains visible throughout. Start with a slice for breakfast, perhaps toasted with almond butter and sliced banana. The combination of healthy fats, protein, and complex carbohydrates will keep you full for hours. Popular brands include Ezekiel 49, Silver Hills, and Alvarado Street Bakery. All widely available in health food stores and increasingly in conventional supermarkets. Expect to pay $4 to $6 per loaf of bread, but remember that you're essentially buying medicine disguised as food. Now that you know the 4 loaves that can save your life, it's time to turn the tables completely. The 4 killer loaves that are stealing your years of life. Unfortunately, not all breads are created equal. There are 4 specific types that can be silently sabotaging your health, especially after 60. These loaves of bread may be hiding in your kitchen right now. The food industry spends billions of dollars annually to make these breads addictive and irresistible. They know exactly which ingredients activate pleasure centers in your brain. But the price you pay in health and longevity is absolutely devastating. Let's expose the first culprit that is accelerating your aging. 1. White bread, the silent poison that accelerates aging. White bread is everywhere, and it's the bread that most of us grew up with. But it's also the bread that does the most silent damage, especially as you get older. Made from wheat flour that has been stripped of its bran and germ, white bread is little more than processed starch. This means that it is digested incredibly fast, causing huge spikes in your blood sugar, followed by energy crashes and uncontrollable cravings for more carbs. In a study of 2022 in diabetes care, older adults who ate white bread daily had a 46% increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. and 33% more risk of rapid memory decline in just 5 years. But the problems go even deeper than diabetes and cognitive problems. The lack of fiber in white bread is devastating to your gut, often leading to constipation or erratic digestion. It also fails to feed the healthy gut bacteria that protect your immune system and reduce inflammation. A huge concern as we age and our immunity naturally declines. And because white bread is usually made with enriched flour, synthetic smoothies are sprayed back after processing. It's missing out on the dozens of micronutrients your body would get from whole grains. Eating white bread regularly can even contribute to weight gain around the waist. This is directly linked to higher risk of stroke and heart failure in older adults. If you love the taste or texture of white bread, you don't have to give it up completely. Just treat it as an occasional treat, not a daily staple. Look for whole grain or sourdough versions that mimic the softness of white bread. But they provide real nutrition instead of empty calories. And when you eat white bread, balance it with high fiber and protein-rich toppings, like tuna, hummus, or eggs, to ease the blood sugar spike. The science is clear on this. White bread is one of the worst choices for aging bodies. Cutting back on consumption can make a dramatic difference to your energy, memory, and weight. But get ready, because the next loaf is even more dangerous. 2. Potato bread. The sugar bomb disguised as a health food. Potato bread sounds innocent, maybe even healthy, but the truth is that it's a starch bomb in disguise. While potatoes themselves can be part of a balanced diet, the way they're used in bread means you get all the carbs, but none of the fiber or nutrients that slow digestion. Most commercial potato breads are made with white flour, sugar, potato flakes, or starch, and sometimes extra oil or butter for tenderness. This combination means that potato bread is digested incredibly quickly, causing blood sugar spikes higher and faster than almost any other bread. In a study of 2021 in the Journal of Geriatric Cardiology, people over 60 who ate potato bread 3 or more times a week had a 37% increased risk of insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is a key step toward diabetes. Even worse, potato bread frequently comes with more added sugar than you might expect. Some brands sneak include 2 or 3 teaspoons of sugar per slice to improve color and texture. Not only does this sugar raise blood sugar, but it can also lead to chronic inflammation, especially in older adults who are more sensitive to dietary changes over time. This creates a cycle of cravings, weight gain, and low energy that is difficult to break. Potato bread is also low in key nutrients like magnesium and potassium, minerals that help regulate blood pressure and muscle function in aging bodies. If you love the soft texture of potato bread, look for whole grain options. Or bake your own with real potatoes and whole wheat flour for more fiber and minerals. Otherwise, reserve potato bread for special occasions, not your daily sandwich. Pay attention to how your body feels after eating it. If you notice a drop in energy, cravings, or digestive discomfort, it's a clear sign that your body prefers slower digesting grains. For daily food, stick to breads with science-proven benefits. The third killer bread will shock you with its deceptive popularity. 3. Sweetbreads and puff pastries. The hidden destroyers of your metabolism. Who doesn't love a sweet bread, a Danish puff pastry, or a fluffy cinnamon cake for breakfast? But for anyone over 60, these sweetbreads and puff pastries are a time bomb for health. Packed with refined flour, sugar, and often cheap oils, these delights send your blood sugar into orbit, followed by a rapid drop that leaves you tired, irritable, and hungry for more. According to a review of 2023 in The Lancet, adults over 60 who ate sugary breads and puff pastries at least 4 times a week had a 44% increased risk of developing metabolic syndrome, a dangerous grouping of conditions, including high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and abnormal cholesterol. That's a one-way ticket for heart attack or stroke. But the dangers don't stop at your blood vessels. High sugar breads are also linked to faster skin aging, increased joint pain, and even higher rates of depression and anxiety in older adults. The sugar causes a spike in insulin, which then triggers inflammation throughout the body, worsening arthritis, making it difficult to heal, and accelerating muscle loss. Over time, your body becomes less able to handle large doses of sugar, leading to more damage with each bite. If you're craving sweet flavors, try baking your own healthier versions at home. Use mashed banana, applesauce, or a touch of honey instead of caster sugar. And use wholemeal flour as a base to add fiber and nutrients. Limit store-bought puff pastries and sweetbreads for special occasions, not everyday food. Combine any sweetbread with protein or a handful of nuts to slow sugar absorption and reduce the inflammatory impact. And pay attention to your desires. Often a craving for sugar means you need more fiber, protein, or sleep. Not another donut that will harm your health in the long run. Don't let a sweet tooth rob you of your health in your golden years. Now get ready for the last and most deceitful killer bread. 4. Starchy gluten-free bread. The healthy lie that hurts more than it helps. It's time to talk about one of the most misunderstood health foods in the grocery store. Gluten-free white bread made from starchy flours such as rice, potatoes, or tapioca. Gluten-free doesn't automatically mean healthy, especially after 60. These breads are often marketed as the best choice for digestion or weight management. But the reality is much more worrying. Most gluten-free white breads have even less fiber, fewer nutrients, and a higher glycemic index than regular white bread. In a shocking 2,202 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, seniors who ate gluten-free white bread every day for 6 months saw a 54% higher spike in blood sugar and a 21% increase in LDL cholesterol compared to those eating traditional whole grain bread. That's a giant red flag for diabetes and heart disease. Why is this bread so problematic? It is usually made by mixing white rice flour, tapioca starch, potato starch, and sometimes cornstarch, with gummies or emulsifiers added for texture. These ingredients digest incredibly fast, leading to rapid blood sugar spikes, insulin surges, and then inevitable crashes that leave you feeling drained and hungry. They are also stripped of vitamins, minerals, and natural fiber. For seniors, this means less energy, weaker immune function, and a higher risk of gut problems like constipation or inflammation. In the same study, participants reported more joint pain, worse sleep, and higher anxiety scores after just a few weeks of regular gluten-free white bread. If you must avoid gluten for medical reasons, choose gluten-free breads made from brown rice, quinoa, buckwheat, or millet. These options are higher in fiber, protein, and minerals, and don't send your blood sugar on a roller coaster ride. Always read the ingredients. If the former are starches or flours that you can't pronounce, put them back on the shelf. For everyone else, don't be fooled by the gluten-free label. It's not always a shortcut to better health, and it can be the most deceptive bread you'll find. Now that you know the 4 loaves to avoid, let's expose the dark secrets behind them. The dark secrets of the bread industry. They don't want you to know. The processed bread industry moves billions of dollars by exploiting consumer dependence. Companies hire neuroscientists to develop combinations of sugar, salt, and fat that stimulate the reward centers in the brain. This process is similar to that used by cigarette manufacturers, but with breads, addiction is socially accepted and even encouraged. Commercial breads contain an average of 22 chemical additives, including dough conditioners, preservatives, and emulsifiers. Many of these additives are banned in Europe, but legal in the US. Potassium bromate, common in American breads, is considered potentially carcinogenic by the WHO. L-cysteine, which softens dough, can be derived from human hair or duck feathers. Azotocarbonamide, used to bleach flour, is also a component of yoga mats. These ingredients make the breads more attractive, but compromise the consumer's health. The industry uses psychological marketing with terms like multigrain and made with whole grains to mask white flour-based products. Labels divide sugar into various forms, making it difficult to identify the actual amount. The long shelf life of breads comes from strong preservatives, which deregulate the intestinal flora and can favor antibiotic resistance. The soft texture of breads is achieved with enzymes that reduce their nutritional value. Microcrystalline cellulose, wood powder, is added to simulate fibers without offering the same benefits. In addition, the industry funds research that confuses the public and minimizes the harms of processed bread. Knowing these practices allows for more conscious and healthy food choices. How to identify the perfect bread in less than 30 seconds. Now that you know both miracle breads and killer breads, you need a quick system for making smart choices. This 30-second technique can literally save your life every time you go to the grocery store. First, ignore the front of the pack altogether. Colorful marketing, health claims, and words like natural are designed to deceive. Go straight to the ingredient list in the back. The first ingredient should be a specific wholemeal flour. Look for whole wheat flour, whole rye flour, or whole grain oat flour. If you only see wheat flour, enriched flour, or multigrain flour, put it back on the shelf. Count the total ingredients. Healthy breads have a maximum of 5 to 8 ingredients. If there's a list of 20 ingredients with names you can't pronounce, it's an ultra-processed product. Look for visible seeds: sunflower, pumpkin, chia, flaxseed, sesame. They should be distributed throughout the slice, not just sprinkled on top for appearance. Check the fiber content on the nutrition panel. Truly healthy breads have at least 3 grams of fiber per slice. Ideally 4 to 6 grams for maximum health benefits. Examine the added sugar content. It should be 0 or at most 1 gram per slice. If there's more sugar than fiber, it's essentially a sweet treat disguised as bread. Feel the weight of the bread. Dense, heavy breads indicate whole grains and real seeds. Light and airy breads are usually ultra-processed and devoid of nutrition. Check the expiration date. Truly natural breads have a short shelf life, usually 5 to 7 days. If it lasts for several weeks, it is loaded with chemical preservatives. Look for organic certifications when possible. This ensures that pesticides and herbicides were not used in the cultivation of the grains. Finally, consider where the bread is stored. The best breads are usually in the frozen or refrigerated section, because they do not contain artificial preservatives for extended shelf life. Now you have the knowledge and tools to make choices that can literally add healthy years to your life. The difference between choosing the right and wrong breads can determine whether you live with vitality or struggle with chronic disease. Every slice is an opportunity to nourish your body or harm it. The choice is entirely in your hands. Remember that small, consistent changes create dramatic transformations over time. Start by replacing only one type of bread per week. Allow your palate to gradually adjust to the richer flavors and denser textures of truly nutritious breads. Your body, your mind, and your longevity will thank you for every conscious choice you make. The future of your health starts with your next trip to the supermarket. Now you know exactly what to look for and what to avoid. Use this knowledge wisely and watch as your energy, digestion, and overall well-being transform. The journey to a longer, healthier life is literally in your hands with every meal.